Yes, sir. Just like that, we're back. We're officially hit the double digits of episodes this week. I can't believe.
Unbelievable, Maxie.
That means we're 3 months in. You know, it's crazy.
Everybody wants to come on, bro.
Everyone wants to come on. I'm getting messages every day. People wanting to come on. I'll get back to everybody. Don't worry. It's we can only do one show a week, and it's the weeks are long. So, but I'm excited for tonight's guest. A little different direction, I would say, than some of the guests we've had on in terms of background and what they do in terms of the hobby. So I'm excited for today's show. A few things. We have the Power HD giveaway. The post will be going up for that soon.
Could I win? No.
No, you can't win. Okay. So Power HD's giveaway will be happening soon. I'll post that soon.
Yep.
Tomorrow night, we have part 2 of our track talk. So we have 9 other track owners coming on tomorrow night.
Damn.
So that'll be the same thing on Facebook again, live just like last week.
You fit them all on the screen?
We can put them all on the screen. Yep.
Okay.
And then on Saturday, we have our Lucas Urbane shows going out this Saturday. It'll be on our YouTube page. We spoke with Lucas, similar how we spoke with Max Mackler. So that'll be coming out on Saturday. I'll post that up. So lots this week.
Damn.
I had to take a week off from the full-time job just to do this.
When you doing Lucas? When you do him? Or are you doing him?
I did Lucas already. That show is recorded. Just got to finish editing a little bit. So
yeah, when did you do it? Last week?
I did it last week too, after the other 2 episodes. So it was a busy week last week.
Damn.
So
sweet.
So good evening, Pass. Well, I don't want to hold up our guest anymore.
Yeah.
Tonight's guest has made a big impact on Canadian RC racing. He's a competitive racer, the owner of Kaos Hobby Sport, and the biggest Canadian dealer for Schumacher Racing, as well as the Canadian team manager for Schumacher. We're going to talk about his racing, running a successful hobby shop and track, growing the RC community, and what's next for the hobby. Please, everybody, welcome Korge Scales.
Yay, there
Hey, guys.
Korge, how are you?
Good. Yourself?
Good, thank you. Long time no see. It was only, 6 days ago?
6 days ago, exactly. Yep. Yeah, that was an awesome show we did together. Lots of feedback afterwards, comments. If anything, I think it shows that the racers in Canada and really North America, care what's happening, right? Everyone kind of realizes that there's ongoing issues and everyone's willing to work around them however they can, right? So.
And how many views that got now, Max, that one?
Oh, thousands.
Nice.
I haven't checked in the last few days, but the last time I checked, it was in the close to tens of thousands.
Sweet.
So it's good. And I had a few people message me, and they're not wrong. They're like, well, we spoke about a solution, but I was like, there is no solution. We're creating conversation. We're creating awareness. We're bouncing ideas off each other. There isn't one solution to fix it, but we just need to talk and hopefully some better comes out of it per se.
Well, I think people have to understand just that everyone's intentions are slightly different, but at the same time, they all love and care about this hobby/sport, right? And I think that's the big thing is to hit on is just to continue to support the tracks, support the shops, support the racing community, right? So I think that was kind of the underlying thing that I kind of got out of it, right?
For sure, 100%. And hopefully it grows and continues. Again, we have another 9 new guys coming on this week from North America, and even 2 guys I think are from South America. So it'll be interesting to hear their perspective on how they do their things down there.
Look at that, Max. Hey, Dennis Harold already kissing up to the boss man already, eh?
Hey, it needs a new kit. What's going on, Dennis? What's going on, B Steel? We got PGRC Prince George Racing. How's it going? Pass. Welcome back.
That's a cool club. That's a very cool club. Yeah, I actually helped them. What a dedicated bunch those guys are up there. They just blood, sweat, and tears to get carpet off-road or indoor off-road going. So we ended up having some old carpet that we just decided to donate to them to get their club going. They kind of carpooled, put everything together, came down, which is I think a 5-6 hour trip, picked it up and turned around, and they were using it that next weekend. Boom, club formed it was awesome to see. And then now they've followed it up with outdoor 8-scale off-road track as well. So really good to see those kind of smaller communities, take the bull by the horns and just kind of get it done right for racing.
Yep. 100%. Someone's got to do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Neverland Hobbies, all the way from New Zealand. Isn't it like 2 or 3 a.m. there? What's going on, Neverland?
Todd probably just woke up to watch this live. He's a great guy, amazing. He used to live here in Canada, raced together a lot. Just super cool guy. He actually, if anyone's seen any of my videos, he does a lot of my edits. I can't do that stuff, but he kind of all strings them together and makes it, I don't know, super cool. So thank you, Todd, for that.
Awesome. The Unexpected Off-Road, how's it going?
Hey, Korge, you know what you were talking about? Remember you were talking we just brought up about what learning from the other tracks or what they said and stuff like the one that got me, and I started thinking about it more, and I went back, is like the sponsorship from manufacturers, or it doesn't have to be a manufacturer. So it's like our Skycraft Hobbies is probably the biggest around here. So yes, I love that guy's idea where if I can go to Skycraft and say, maybe the track, Wilson's track becomes Rose Cities, brought to you by Skycraft Hobbies. And if you become, is it a member? Was that you that brought that up? You pay a membership and you get like a discount on tires.
We both did. I think we were kind of saying the same thing, but two different ways. So I can't remember his name. Casey, I believe, right?
Yes.
That was Casey. And, he has a neat approach where he does a lump sum membership at the start of the year, that he kind of does some calculations to fund everything, and guys just pay that up front. And then they're locked into those special privileges and benefits for that season, that 6-month season. The cool thing about that was I didn't quite realize, I've seen obviously it on Facebook. I didn't realize that Awesomatics USA was a primary sponsor and also kicking in, whatever cash or benefit. So that's super cool. Obviously that's where we're a little bit different. We don't have anything like that right now, and I haven't really thought about that. But I tell you, I think the membership thing, from my point of view, it works. And I kind of hope that more tracks aren't afraid to do it. Cause I sure was, I'll be honest. Right. We kind of had we're a smaller group, obviously, just be with remotely where we are.
Yeah.
And, I would put it out there to who was invited and stuff like that. And I might get 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 guys or whatever, but behind the scenes, they don't realize that, to do a Wednesday night practice or a Wednesday night worlds or whatever you want to call it, that isn't just me opening the doors, at 3:00 when they're allowed to come. That's me, being here at 12:00 or 1:00 to make sure that, the heat or air conditioning is on, the pits are clean, the garbages are empty.
Yeah.
Everything's warmed up, works, track is vacuumed, like all that stuff. And it was very discouraging from time to time of how little people didn't really acknowledge that, right? They would be like, oh, I can't make it last minute or whatever it might be. And I get it. Life happens, it comes, but it just didn't seem like people were as dedicated as I was, right? And so a few times I'm just like, man, this isn't working. And, some nights, dead of winter, we're not covering our costs just on the heat, right? So I kind of wanted to figure out something because I wanted to keep it going, but I also wanted to keep my sanity, right? Like I can obviously practice whenever I want, make it, but that's not the goal here. The goal is to have other people enjoy the track and to learn from all of us and advance and just, somewhere where you can kind of go to a slower set, or I say a less crowded setting. We don't allow a lot because we have less members. We don't have a lot of traffic on the track at any time like you would at a club race, right? You're not sharing that track with 15 guys trying to crowd into a driver's stand, right? So here you can actually get something done. So that's kind of the advantage. So, people are like, oh, I want that. I appreciate that. But then they also got to show up to show the support, right? And so I was kind of thinking about this membership format, and they pay a monthly membership. It's $100, and that covers all their track days, right? So it's like they're basically prepaying their practice fees, right?
Yep.
So similar to what 180 does. And I just found that gave me the the budget to basically not worry or wake up going, man, is one guy or is 8 guys going to come or 10 guys couldn't come tonight, right?
Okay.
So that was kind of the thing. And then it just allows more operating budget. I don't, other than costs, I kind of put it back in the track. So like this year, there's office carpet down on the track. The CRC block is underneath it. Office carpet on top of it, just specifically for the carpet off-road cars. So all that club membership money over and above bought that carpet. We're looking at doing an outdoor turf track next spring. That's super exciting to me. I'm kind of taking the lead from Europe or England on that. I think that's kind of I hope they build it and they'll come. I know people are kind of getting away from that phrase, but I got to try. And worst case, I have an awesome track to play with myself, right? And a few friends.
No, you're lucky to have that, my friend. What you created with your real business to actually give this playground for yourself. And it's nice that you actually let people or come to your playground, because you don't have to. You know what I mean? So it's very nice of you.
Exactly. And the guys, they all appreciate it. I love them. We've formed, kind of a very close-knit team. We travel together. They're all different levels, different abilities. Some are, just want to turn laps, and some of them want to really advance, right? They want to understand, hey, I want my car to do this. Let's make it do this. Why can it do this? How do I do this? Right. So that's been really cool. And I love coaching the guys and seeing them advance week in, week out. But back to the membership, I was, there was a part of me when I made that post in our private group, and I was scared, right? Because you don't know what kind of reaction you're in. You didn't know if you're going to get pound sand, or yes, right? And I feel very fortunate when I was just upfront and honest with the guys. Everyone saw the light, saw the advantages of doing it that way, and I think everyone just kind of embraced it. And I've got some members that. Like Sam Olmsted, for one, great guy, and just with his work schedule, he can't always get out here. But every month, he's like one of the first to pay, and he's like, I don't care. I just want to make sure that your track is there when I can get there. Yeah. So it's super cool, right? So hopefully that message is been presented well, and everyone kind of understands that it's not about greed. It's not about even exclusiveness. It's just like, guys, we got to keep the lights and the doors open and keep everyone happy so we can all play together.
You're right. If you look at any RC track, if you could break even at the end of the year, it's a great year. It's not about somebody says about around here. Sometimes some guys get, the guy's retiring on this or whatever, but they don't understand that. Yes, it costs that much to operate anything. The cost is crazy.
Do you think that membership would work at Rose City though?
No. You could ask.
Is it just because
well, the problem around here is that there's just so many options and so many tracks. So it's like from another on-road track to another. There's off-road all summer. There's this and that. It's just trying to convince the guys, like you said, whether they pay that $200 a month or whatever, to keep the place there when you want to come out or to come back. That's why I like this idea. If he said, if I can get Skycraft on board or something, that some banners go up, Skycraft Hobbies, and maybe Skycraft will say, okay, for every membership you get, you get a card at Skycraft that gives you 10% off. Maybe he's willing to do something like that. I got to bring it up to him. I shouldn't say this on here, but instead of going
Kevin's a good guy.
Yeah, I know. Instead of going to X-Ray or instead of going to Awesomatics, why not that hobby shop? And it only creates maybe possibly more business for him, because these guys will go spend their money there, getting a 10% or whatever discount he can give, but you need that membership card or whatever to maybe that'll help. I don't know.
It's a two-way street. The shop needs the track and the track needs the shop. Simple as that. And Skycraft, I've ordered from him before too. And he seems like he's got really good selection of racing stuff, which is a bigger problem in my eyes right now than anything else.
Yes, and I give him credit. You're right. I give him credit. If somebody wants something or something new, he tries definitely to get it and stuff. Like they're a full-on hobby shop where I think planes. They got, what I mean. I think his dad started at Max years ago. It was all planes and everything else. So he does try, but that's when I bring up my thing that I feel bad for him. Like I brought up the last podcast where, a motor company comes out with a new motor, and he gets 10 in and 8 are supposed to be sold. And then guys bought them from a sponsored guy. And Now he's stuck with these 8 motors, right? And you give him a couple weeks later and you get asked Max, right? Then you got to blow them out, right? For a percentage off just to get rid of them. And that's what I can see change. So yes, we need that hobby shop. We need everything. Cause then all of a sudden you're upset that you can't buy glue nowhere, right? Or you can't buy wheel nuts, or you can't buy this. You can only order so much online, right? You know what I mean?
That was just it. You know, I had funny, one of my members, you know, because again, I don't do any dirt racing. I mean, you know, I used to, obviously, and then probably for the past, I don't know, 15 years, I've just kind of, you know, taken the time off, right? You need downtime, and I still concentrate on obviously the other stuff, but I'm not involved in dirt. And so I had one of my members, you know, he's so used to our stock levels, how we handle everything on the Schumacher side, you know, for everything. And he's running around like a chicken with his head cut off because he's trying to race off-road dirt, and he can't find the tires he needs or wants. And he's just like, he's reaching out to everyone, right, all over. And I sent him a message last night. I said, hey, we'll figure it out. We'll find something. Like it's not that hard, right? Well, but it was just funny because he said to me, he said, you know, thanks. Like, it's just when I live in these scenarios, I see really how important it is with what you do with Chaos. And we're just so used to that, right? Like, it's literally just walk downstairs, it's there, right? So, or you can get it really quick. So whichever one, right? Cool. So I feel like, yeah, I mean, that's probably part of the problem too. You need supply around, right?
Yeah. 100%. Comment section's blowing up for you here, Korge. We got Aiden in the house here. Neverland, 12 p.m. Emerson. Don't worry, Belgium's gonna win. It's already 1-0. Andy Anderson, how's it going? Big Baz in the house. Good evening, Baz. Hope all is well. Roshis, Gert Schuer, how's it going?
That's one of my members there, Gert. Yeah.
Gert, there you go. Ragocious, he says hello, Gert. Lots of guys in here for you, Korge. Sam is grateful.
Oh, that's Sam Olmstead. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, he's the guy I was telling you about. He loves it.
Yeah. Well, I see your beautiful track behind you, and before the show we chatted for a little bit, and you hit us with the interesting fact. You've been in the hobby for coming on 40 years now.
Yep.
You know, that's awesome to hear.
40 years.
Yeah. It's amazing.
I'll be 50 this year. Yep, 50 in September, and I started when I was 10 years old.
And what did your dad buy you a kit? What was that first step when you got in the hobby to where you are now?
So I was fortunate enough, I guess everything happens for a reason, right? I was fortunate enough to kind of grow up in this little community called River Springs. And in there was a ton of kids, you know, my age, and we could kind of run around. You know, it was kind of one of those, it was a secure kind of place. There's probably 300 or 400 homes. There's pools and trails and lakes and everything. And a group of us got RC cars. One of my friends down the street got a Grasshopper for Christmas. And I mean, man, we must have charged that thing 100 times. Like, it was just anything we could get, right? Like, we're just anything, making a jump or going to, there's a little rock quarry in the back. We take it up there. And then more and more kids got them, right? That was the era. There was a hobby shop that kind of dealt Tamiya at the time called Westwood Hobbies. It's not around anymore. And we used to all ride our bikes there, and we'd watch you probably remember it, Mark, like that TV was on with that promo video of Tamiya. It was like a fox jumping over like sand dunes and big wigs and like, lunch boxes
way
and
before
hornets
way before our man Max was even thought of.
Oh yeah.
Never even heard of that car.
You never heard of the frog and hornet?
Exactly.
Vanessa's lunchbox.
Yeah, lunchbox, exactly.
Oh yeah.
Right? And man, we would I don't know, it was just the thing what our group of friends did. So we'd ride our bikes and we'd just like, we'd watch that video, VHS video or beta or whatever it was, just loop in the shop, right? Just dreaming. And we'd go home, do our paper routes, and that's where our money was going, right? So either, Christmas or birthdays or whatever. So I had paper routes, and my first car was a Bigwig, and bought that from Westwood. And of course it was like, at the time, I think it had won there used to be a Tamiya hobby show at BC Place. And I think the Bigwig won that year or whatever it was, 85 or whatever it was. Right. And anyway, so I wanted that car. And so I saved up and I bought it. And then, other guys in the community got cars or kids, and we all raced. We would throw down in the tennis courts or wherever. We'd make a track out of anything, and we raced, and it was fantastic. And then I just kind of just gravitated towards RC cars. I just loved it. And I was the one, every issue of RC Car Action, and I'd cut them up and put them up by my bed when I was a kid, just whatever it was, right? It was crazy looking back, but a lot of good times too, right? I mean, good memories were had for sure. Anyways, long story short, wanted to get into racing. And then my dad, we had a place we'd go down to Birch Bay every weekend, it was like a campground, but like a membership thing. So we could go down every weekend. And we'd go down to Birch Bay, and there was a little track in Birch Bay, and then there was the Hobby Hive in Bellingham, Washington. And went in there, and it was just like the light bulb went off, right? Parker was the owner, and I still remember, he's just one of those awesome store owners, probably like Kevin, or, that would just loved it and would just like, hey, we have this, do you want to try it? So he let me to the track in the back. And of course, my bigwig didn't do all that great, right? On a racing surface, right? This is the era of RC10s, right? Yeah. And Arc Pro Radiance and Kyosho Optima Mids, and like that era, right? Yeah. Optimas or whatever they were. And so the JRX2 was just coming out, just right around that time kind of thing. And that was what I focused in. And so we bought one of the first JRX2s, or my dad helped me buy it. Yep. And it was one of the first first kits that didn't even have the box art ready. It was just a white box with a JRX2 sticker on it.
That sticker on top. Yep.
Yeah. And so, man, I still remember that diff grease. I mean, I don't know if you ever built one of the original ones, but it was sticky. And but it was an awesome build, right? So we built it, and then we started racing down at Berm Busters, which was a local track in Bellingham, and which was only about an hour away from me, right? And across the border. And then met some great guys, great kids and stuff like that, and just kind of went up. And then we started racing in North Vancouver, and then eventually Coquitlam, and really all over North America. That my dad would travel with me. We'd go everywhere. It was just that was my youth, right? So yeah, just never gave it up.
Max, you're muted, buddy.
I was eating my cucumber. I didn't want to hear my chewing. But when did you transition into, I want to say, the competitive side of things? Did your dad bring you to these? I don't know what the big races were at the time, but those big races where the big names were there.
Nationals in California and stuff. Yeah, and we did all the. I mean, this was all back like dirt, right? So we went down to California. It was clay tracks, and I still remember sitting outside, and Gary Kais from Team Losi is telling everyone about how inserts and rubber tires are going to change the world. And it really did, right? I mean, back then, this was kind of that transition where you're running, a tire that's stiff enough that no insert to a softer tire and inserts, right? That's that era. So, what people take for granted today, I lived that transition. It was, so I saw a lot of history. I saw Kinwald. Sad thing, when I was a kid, like you probably kind of, hit on it a bit. I loved it. And I actually collected everyone's bodies. I mean, I had this awesome body collection, all signed. I probably had 30 bodies that were all signed by pros. They're gone. I don't know what happened to them. I think they got thrown away. And I look back and I just, I wish. I actually have some. I can't because the camera's set up now, but I could send you some shots. I've got a signed Masami Hirosaka body from a touring car race. I've got a Joel Johnson signed body, and I've got a Barry Baker signed body. All touring cars, the early 2000s Dodge Stratus era. But they're up on my trophy wall, which is over there.
That would have Max. That would have been your favorite driver, buddy, Joel Johnson.
Joel Johnson.
So?
Yeah, awesome. He was the Magic Man, but if you would have seen him, he was an athlete, buddy. College football player, ripped, right? You would have liked him. He didn't look like an RC driver at all. And he's the only one that go to a dirt race wearing all white and still be all white clothing after. Kyosho jacket, shiny white Kyosho jacket. Oh, yeah. He was the man. Spiked hair.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
Looked like
I said,
looked like
right?
a movie star. He
He
went
was
to the
like a
gym, that guy.
magazine model, right?
Yeah,
Like,
he was.
and an FMAR world champion at the same time. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
He didn't look like a toy car racer, put it that way.
Yeah. I remember, I can't remember what year it was. It would have been in the early 90s, but we were at the Reedy race and obviously in the open class and the invitational. So Masami Hirosaka was there. And back then they'd give you a little paper program for mostly for the Reedy format, because you know all the top drivers would be in shuffled heats every round, right?
Mhm.
So there was no live time where you just do a resort, right? It was all kind of pre-made. And so they have this little brochure that everyone that entered would get. And Masami happened to be one of the first guys I had sign it. And it was so funny because at the time he understood English, but he couldn't really speak it, maybe broken at best kind of thing. And he looked at it, I guess he just looked at like a blank envelope, and he took the whole back. Like, I mean, his signature was like that, right? And and I'm like, man, I'm thinking, holy, can I get another one? Like, where am I going to get everyone else to sign it, right? But super cool. But yeah, unfortunately, it's gone. So I guess I don't know, got thrown out when I was a teenager or something during a move or something. But yeah, I look back at those memories and I tell people stories, and Mark obviously understands it. Max, you're probably in all things you've seen or heard, right? But living it was the absolute best.
Yeah.
For RC, there was nothing better. I remember Kinwald. 1 year he just dominated Roar Nationals, and I think it was 18 laps. Everyone else was just stuck on 17, and Kinwald went out there and just laid down an 18-lap run. And his car looked so slow, but it was so smooth. Like, that was just like right there. It was just like, it's all about corner speed and just that flowy, smooth line, right? And I remember that as a kid, and that's a lot of that. And what I saw in those early days is how I kind of transitioned to my driving style, right? A lot of guys will come up and say, I'm not going to win every race, trust me. But a lot of guys come up and just go, man, like, your car just looks so smooth. It never gets unsettled or anything like that. And I always think back to just watching Kinwald any opportunity I could get on the track. It was just amazing.
Yeah. You're a gem Corgi compared to for Aiden.
Thanks.
Shout out to Schumacher. Stock availability and response to the shooting time is always great. Andre Paradis in the house. Steel Big Bear. Doug Martin, the clubhouse rocks. I've been missing you guys. Maybe I'll make it this Wednesday. Yes, sir. You better.
Awesome, Doug. Good to see you.
Wayne Thomas, how are you? Quite the trip down to California with you in the mid-90s, Corgi.
Oh, who is that? Oh,
not sure.
Is that Dean?
FHUZ Patch.
I think that's Patch? Dean. That's Dean. That's Dean Fogg. Awesome guy. It's so funny that he got back into racing. Yes, he was at that trip. Dean, do not show that picture. I don't want to see that picture online.
Show that picture, Dean.
Yeah. You see,
no, you don't want to see it.
You see Corgi with a mullet, eh? Big mullet
well,
hair.
No, it was like dorky old. I had the Losi jacket and like the pink black,
pink black
just,
checkered. Oh yeah. You had to have the flow going too. You had to, back then. We all did, buddy.
Funny. I've got some of Dean's Schumacher cars here. So to flip that over, when I said I was racing in North Vancouver, so now I'm probably, I don't know, 13, 14 in that era. And Dean Fogg and his brother, can't remember his brother's name, they ran for Schumacher back then at the track. Okay. And so when the whole Schumacher thing came, and I actually help out Dean's son now. Patch is just an awesome driver. I mean, he's good. He's definitely in his dad's footsteps because his dad was a great driver back in the day too. Cool. And Dean gave me 3 of his original Schumacher cars. We haven't cleaned them up yet, but they're sitting here in the clubhouse on display. And I just love stuff like that, right? Because it takes you back when the guys see what they actually really used to look like back in the day, right? I've got an original Cat 2000. I mean, Dean might actually remember what's actually here. There's 3 of them, but there's a Cat 2000 for sure, original. I can't remember the name of the 2-wheel drive, and there's another 4-wheel there. But yeah, I love that kind of stuff. There's another guy in Kamloops that also ran Schumacher back in the 90s and 2000s, and he's kind of said that he'd give me some stuff too. So just that history, right? It's just so cool.
You're right, dude. All the good times. throughout the years. You're right. Even though I played all that hockey and whatever sports I did, but I don't know. I got hooked on RC and the guys and the traveling together and right from the tracks to the hotels to everything. It was just so much fun. I know I tell Max every time we get together, we're at the tracks, and Max got to hear me back in my day, right? Max, oh, I know, here we go, back in your day. And I'm just like, I don't know.
It was the best.
It was just,
even those times at Fast Cats, right? You know,
when you came,
skip 20 years, and now you and I are racing at Fast Cats, right?
Yeah.
And you know,
Scotty
I was
there.
X-ray, SMC, Jaco. You were pole position, Corrali, and I don't remember what you were using for motor back then, right? And you know that podium picture that we have,
Phantom
and
Motors.
Scotty go 1, 2, 3, right?
Yeah, me, you.
So, like, how cool is that, right?
Hey,
so,
Max, you want to hear one of the best stories? This is where you're gonna laugh because you're gonna understand something. So, Korge started bringing in X-Ray and became X-Ray Canada. Somehow he got in contact with Steve at Niagara Center, blah, 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 blah. Next thing you know, I'm running X-Ray. So it had to be after the Corelli thing, I'm assuming. I can't remember before. But anyways, so this is how nice of a guy he is, right? He didn't have cars or whatever. There was a big Magma race here at Meriton, but Magma out of Toronto was putting it on, right? Yada, yada, yada. Martin, Chris, everybody's going to be there. It's Whiteman. There's a lot of guys, probably a good 60, 70 guys in there. And he sends me his car to run mod, touring foam, his car, all electronics in it, everything. But this is the point you're going to laugh at. He sends the guy named Santino, Nemi.
Oh, yeah.
Right? He tells Santino, don't let Mark touch the car. You work on the car, whatever the car needs, you ask Santino, and Santino will change it. So I'm laughing, Max, because you always say my wrenching skills and what I do to Bryce's car, sometimes I screw it up. So this gentleman, all the way from BC, not really knowing me, sends me his car to run. Nice enough, but he actually knows me somehow to said, don't let Mark touch the car. Santino, you mount the bodies, you run it, you need anything. And they would chat themselves and figure out what the car needed. And right, I end up TQ and winning, right? Even over Martin and all those guys, but I died laughing because don't let Mark touch it. Just, that was the answer. I called Corey, no, just tell Santino what you need. And he knows what to fix on it. What's got a little push, tell Santino, right? We'll work it out. I went up there, buddy. I look like an F1 driver. Just hold your radio. Santino put the car down, everything else.
I send you a car and a mechanic.
It's the coolest thing, buddy. But it was hilarious. Mark, don't touch it. Just tell me what you need. But anyways, buddy,
we still say that now. Don't touch the cars because you always find a way to fuck it up. So it's bad.
Man, I miss Santino. Like that is one guy I wish would come back. Like he's still on my Facebook.
It's super nice. One of the nicest guys in the hobby. One of the nicest guys, like you said. He was super, super nice.
And I loved hanging out with him too. When I'd come to Fast Cats for whatever race we had there and stuff. Yeah, that was Santino. You got to get back into it, my friend.
Anyway, sorry, Max. You got another question, I'm sure?
No, we got lots of comments. This might be our biggest comment one. I started with Korge in 1996 in North Vancouver, B-Steel. That's longer than I was alive.
Buddy Frankie. Yep, Frank Bortolazzo.
Kay Robinson Racing. Hello, my friend. Luigi, how are you? Dan Chai. Hey, guys, love the on-road content. Is that an on-road track in the background also? You have two separate tracks, right? Or is it one track that you convert?
Same track. So there's CRC black underneath the office carpet. And so that's all taped down. There's no seams, anything like that. And then we put the office carpet on it the other direction. The office carpet's so thick, you don't need to tape it. You don't need to do anything. It literally just lays flat. It's the best thing ever. So we have that going the opposite direction. Okay. So, I mean, if you saw a close-up, you'd see a small seam where you kind of see the black underneath. But
you cover the whole thing? You just don't cover at the end of the jumps or whatever. You cover the whole track.
We cover the whole thing. And then I've actually got 4 more rolls of office carpet to match this. So I can do a track double the size. We've been talking about doing a trophy race like in our region up here. So we have that. So if that happens and we have enough carpet to move everything out, host a race, and then
Now, how often do you change your track from off-road to on-road? Do you keep it so long?
I'd say primarily it's an on-road track. So we kind of follow the on-road. See, as you guys know, right? I mean, we're all on-road bugs. We love to test too, and you got to try the new body-mounted 1 millimeter forward, right? So right? So we follow the traditional on-road season with on-road. So basically from late September all the way till March, April kind of thing.
Okay. And
then unfortunately in Western Canada, the carpet off-road runs the same time as our carpet on-road events, right? Same period. So I set up the track for we set up the track for off-road and used our summer months as practice or preparation for those races that we also attend in the winter months.
Gotcha.
We do all our kind of pre-testing or testing or whatever, just so we're when we put that car down in November at Conquer the Carpet, we kind of have an idea of what we're doing, right, or what we're up against.
Makes sense. Gotcha.
That must be Corgie's friend, this guy. Horny Caveman?
Horny Caveman. That sounds...
That's not your friend?
I know who that is.
Yeah. Horny Caveman.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Love that guy's name. That's awesome.
Maybe you know the answer to this one, Korge. I don't really know. Korge, when did things shift from the sport picking up to or dropping off? You know what that means from Neverland Hobbies? That's code.
When did things shift from the sport picking up or dropping off? Todd, you might have to send a little bit more details. I'm kind of stumbled by that one.
Yeah.
Oh, he's probably asking on my opinion on that. He's probably asking on when do you think, like, when did, it goes like this, the hobby.
Oh, you mean like old school?
He's probably thinking when did it reach its peak? I'm assuming he's asking, and when do you feel, or what do you think made it go like
well,
down?
I think we just talked about it. I mean, do you remember the days, like bringing Santino up again? Do you remember the days? I can't remember what club it was, but the track was that parking lot track that you guys all raced nitro in.
Oh,
right?
That's Hobby parking lot.
Hobby,
in Streetsville.
right.
Yeah, in Streetsville.
Right.
Yep.
And I mean, you guys used to get like 100, 150 entries for a club race in a parking lot.
They ran every other week on a Sunday, and yeah, you're right. There's about 90 to 100 guys showing up.
Yeah, and we were the same during that era. I mean, we would club race in Richmond parking lot, and it was the same thing. The races were so big, like you'd see people you've never even seen before, right? We would run electric on Saturday and touring or nitro on Sunday. Like the numbers were huge. We used to have 4 or 5 tracks that would all run touring cars. So yeah, I would say that was the era. What, early 2000s? I would say that was
probably, it was early. I just got married then. Yeah, early.
Probably the ultimate peak, I would say, for
late 90s, early 2000.
Yeah, that was the best, absolute best of the stories, right? I mean,
the competition was incredible.
We probably can't even tell half the stories, right, online.
No, but I think the big thing back then too was, I want to say, like the hobby shop battles. So there were so many. It was like, Hobby had their, like, say 20 guys, and then we came from down here from Niagara Central with about 20 guys, and Fast Cats started with their right. So not only were you not looking about being sponsored by Schumacher or this company or that company, you actually had that hobby shirt and you were battling the other sort of hobby shops.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
the manufacturers at that time didn't really have much say in the local scene.
No.
Right? Like, the big drivers were always, sponsored.
Yeah.
But the battles were, you're right, hobby shop based, right? So I remember back then I used to work at, a hobby shop called Race Tech Hobbies. And it was kind of the same kind of philosophy I have with Kaos. It's like the hub. This is where guys want to go to, hang out, bullshit, talk, set up, coffee, whatever, right? Let's go to the pub for wings night afterwards. Like, it was just everything and anything. And I think that was every pro shop across Canada and probably North America in that era. It was just the place to go, right?
Just like the early 90s, we had it that there was Canadian Hobbycraft that brought in Kyosho, and then somebody else. So they had a team. They were a distributor, right? But they had their team. And then the next one, I forget who brought in Associated. Then they had their team. And then somebody brought in Losi, right? So then it became, in the early 90s, around this area, it was not hobby shop. It was more or less these distributors were making a little 10-car team, right?
Well, I think the most classic memory I have of that was that Thunder Tiger battle, right? I think it was Tom Wright from
Tamiya.
Thunder Tiger.
Tamiya?
From Borgfeld, right?
Yeah, Tamiya Tom.
But was it Borgfeld at the time too?
Yeah,
That brought
yeah,
in
it was
Thunder?
always Borgfeld. So they had that Tamiya team. Yeah, you're right. And then, oh God, what was his name at Canadian Hobbycraft? So then they opened up hobby shops. Like there was one in St. Catharines that opened up. They had one in Dundas, one in Toronto, one in New, right?
Yeah.
Um,
That's probably one of my favorite stories, right? Is I remember it was at Action Hobbies Kingsville, and I don't remember the year, probably 2006, maybe
Okay.
7. I was doing X-ray at the time, maybe
Yeah.
6, and he was doing Thunder Tiger,
Okay.
and I can't remember, but there was this big showdown race at Kingsville, and I can't remember what it was, and Richard Saxon for Thunder Tiger was there. Do you remember that?
Yes, they were
was like-
bringing in Associated then. Somebody was.
It was
And they
like
brought
when
in him. Yeah.
Let's bring pro drivers, and they show up at this race and all that kind of stuff, right? And so I was distributing X-Ray at the time, and we had I think it was the original XB8, the 8 scale car, which is a fantastic car. I mean, everyone liked that car when it came out, and just strong, durable, came with a set of tools. It was just, it was kind of how I remember it. It was kind of like our car and the Thunder Tiger car.
Okay.
And that was kind of the the back and forth, this and that and blah, 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 and all that. Right. Anyways, there's this race. And so Chuck had said, "Hey, Korge, can you send a team? Like, can we have some X-ray representation there?" And so I said, "Yeah, I'm sure. Why not? Right? Ontario is a great market, and yeah, we'll try to be there." Well, of course, couldn't get anyone from Europe or anyone to come or whatever, right? And I don't even remember if we had a big team for 8 scale at that time from RC America or whatever. Anyways, long story short, so I asked Wayne Ma, and I said, "Wayne, if I buy your tickets and stuff, do you want to go?" And he's like, "Yeah, I'd love to go race there, right?" So I think I sent out Gord Barr, Wayne Ma, and Wayma, which is Wayne's dad or his pitman.
Okay.
And I think it was Wayne's first time racing in Ontario. And then we had a large team, like Andy Veeder was on my team there from Ontario, and all the locals and stuff like that, right? Andy's another great guy. He's just, always been there kind of. Anyways, and so, whatever. We fly him out Thursday or Wednesday, whatever day it was, and they set up and all that. And, Wayne's getting used. He's texting me and calling me and whatever. And his car's great. Car's fantastic. Yeah, right? Well, Richard Saxon, I think he was current world champion or maybe a year past, something like that. Obviously, he's going to, showboat and do everything, right? So he ends up TQing, but Wayne's right on his butt. Like Wayne's got him, right? And so Wayne's calling me on Saturday night going, we figured something out. I think we're going to have a really good main. And I'm like, okay, just do what you do, man. My money's always on you. Always. To this day, my money's always on Wayne Ma. Anyways, and so I can't remember if it was Gord or Wayne, but they called me just after the race and say Wayne won. He just literally ghosted Richard Saxon for whatever it was, got by him, and just cruised to victory. And for me, that was like the biggest win ever because, I believed in someone. I believed in Wayne. I put the money up. I got him there, and we achieved it. We showed that the car at the time was excellent, was capable of winning any race we sent it to, and it was just an awesome feeling. I don't know if you were there or not, but it was it was a great time. Just boom.
That guy can wheel.
Wayne is.
Yeah.
He honestly kind of pushed me for the Schumacher stuff a little bit, right? And which was really, obviously, Wayne and I have been the best of friends since those days. And I've been very lucky and fortunate that he puts a lot of trust in me, and, whatever I kind of associate myself with is what he wants to be associated with for the most part. He followed Awesomatics and Associated, and, my whole, kind of racing career. We've always,
because he doesn't live by you, right? He's not in BC.
No,
is he?
he lives in Edmonton.
He's
about 7 hours away from me. But when we used to, the WIC series and various series, we're always on an airplane or car, whatever. We're always, at any big race that matters, we're usually together, kind of thing, right? And so, you like yourself, right? These are your friends, these are your family, right? So, but yeah, anyways, and so back to this. So Wayne, he's like, what's this carpet off-road like? And I'm like, oh, dude, it's like so much fun. You got to try it. He's like, oh, a track opened up in Edmonton. I think I'll go try it. So he does, and he's like, well, what are you running? I'm like, well, I'm running Associated stuff at the time. So so he grabs some Associated stuff, and you know, he's out there, and he's like, man, like this is next level. Like it's just so much fun. And but he's like, well, I just want to race what you're racing. So you know, can we get a deal on Associated and stuff like that? And I'm like, well, sure, I'm sure we can try or whatever. And one thing led to another, and it just didn't align. And then the Schumacher opportunity came up, and I'm like, Wayne, what do you think about this? Like, do you want to just break the mold like what we did with X-Ray years ago and try again? And he's like, absolutely, let's do it. So Dan Coulier, which was another local racer, good friend of mine, he had spent some time in England living there, and he's the one that kind of set it up. He had a lot of the contacts from the local clubs there. Contacted Lee Martin, who's now on X-Ray, but at the time he was Schumacher. Got in contact with him and set it up, and then we started, you know, talking, negotiating, and Dan basically went to Muzz and said, you know, like if you sign Korge and you sign Wayne, you know, you got a really good strong basis of a team, right? Considering we had next to no presence in Canada at all 2 years ago, right? And yeah, Wayne's like, yeah, absolutely. If you're running it, I want to run it. So that's kind of how it started, and a lot of success just on Wayne, right? He's such a good guy.
Yep.
Helps anyone, makes anything look good, right? I mean, the guy can drive, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of how it started.
Yeah, and now it's grown into powerhouse. Schumacher brand at our Rose City track has gone through the roof. I'm seeing postings every time I go on Facebook. Schumacher. You're really, really good. You signed Douglas this year, which was, I think, a huge part of your on-road team, and then we'll expand into your, you know, buggy program and whatnot. So you guys been on a tear in the last 2 years, nonstop. I see.
Yeah, I mentioned that race earlier, Conquer the Carpet, and so that, I think at the first race we ran Schumacher, there was maybe, you know, first we just got the cars kind of thing and whatever. I think there was 4 cars, which were ours, right? Last year we had 54 cars.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So like it was just a huge, massive growth. Everyone that tries the stuff likes it. You know, Schumacher's kind of the company that it's an awesome company, very similar to X-Ray. You know, their core focus is racing, right? You know, they might have some other additional models to, you know, help out certain sections, but the core is racing. And so the engineers are fantastic, and they build, I don't know, a Schumacher car just feels different than anything else. I don't know how to say it. I remember, you know, going back, I know I'm probably all over the map here, but like, again, we were at Canadian Nationals in 98, 99 on-road asphalt, and we had our shit figured out. And Darren Shank would come up from Western Washington, Schumacher driver, and just wax us. Like it was just like, we're just like, what just happened? Right. And so, you know, back from then to now, present day, there's just something about a Schumacher car that drives different. I don't know. They make traction. They feel comfortable. The corner speed's insane. I'm not trying to gloat. I haven't heard anyone switch and say they've gone slower or they haven't liked the platform. Right? Yes, there's this and that, and like any car, but for the most part, everyone is just like, this is a game changer for my own personal program. So you know, it's not so much I'm pushing it. I'm just allowing people to try it and have the opportunity to have, like you said in one of the last shows, you know, sourced parts for it. You're not going all over the world looking for stuff. Yep. You can literally order it, I don't know, Monday and have it, depending where you are, Tuesday or Wednesday, right? From a Canadian source. So I think that's really all we really brought to the table was a constant good supply of parts and options. And then the expertise that if you have a question or whatever, we're here to answer it and help you set it up, right?
Yeah, that's the two biggest things. I think those two things. I did a survey with Martin Huddy when he came down to kind of figure out what the average racer looks for when they're looking for a kit, when they're looking for direction, and what you just said were the two biggest parts: part support and car support. They don't give a shit who's the world champion.
No.
They don't care who wins ETS. They don't even know who those guys are. They just care that there's product here, the product is good, and if you message somebody to ask for help, you're going to get an answer.
Yeah.
So, and I think you guys are doing a fantastic job on that, because that's just what I keep hearing from everybody. So it must be working.
We're trying. It's no different than what I think it's just, that's just how I am. Back to when I was a kid, I love the sport. I love the hobby. And, anyone that comes to me for help, I want to give honest advice and help, because it's something I love and I want to share it. Simple as that. Right. I guess it's worked my whole career. Right. So not going to change it now.
Yeah. And you guys literally, I scroll on your website, you have everything. Like kits ready to go. Most of the part, like 99% of the parts, it looked like.
There, Corey. Is it? I know I'm throwing it out there, but is it going to happen that you possibly become, or would you think of Schumacher North America?
You know what? I have meetings. I have weekly meetings with Schumacher, and there's a lot of stuff that's happening behind the scenes, and a lot of really great stuff, especially for North America.
I don't know if there is a distributor in the States. I don't know.
There isn't, and I mean we've talked about it. To be honest with you, these exclusive distribution ships, I think, are kind of a thing of the past, right? To be honest with you, obviously I experienced that with X-Ray when I had X-Ray Canada.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
And it creates its own set of problems. So have we talked about it? Yes. Do I want to do it? No. I much rather, and this is kind of one of my roles with the company too, is, I'm more than happy to help any shop across Canada set up a Schumacher account. I've done, I've even done opening orders for a bunch of shops. They're just like, we don't know what to have. We just know that guys are wanting the product. Can you do it? Sure. No problem. Give me a budget and I'll kind of, set out some basics and what you need to have, and then you can expand or build out that however you see fit. Right. But like I always say, you got to have it to sell it. Right. So that's kind of what I want to do with Kaos. That's my own control. I think I told you the story before. With distribution and stuff, and maybe it was just the time, but the reason I closed Canada RC down was internet sales. I'd have X amount of whatever on order, and just with the shipping channels, North America would always receive it later than, say, Hong Kong, right? So then obviously racers will buy from overseas, right, and get it, and you don't even have your stuff, and then they're canceling with you, right? And then I found some hobby shops would kind of use me as a scapegoat. I'm not going to mention names or right or wrong or whatever. Everyone has to do what they have to do. But, if they can't, and I never had any minimums or anything, but you have to obviously cover shipping.
And Max, see how long it's been the same, buddy? You say things right. The problem is the hobby doesn't change. This was when did I run for you? Was that 03, 04, 05 X-Ray, something like that?
Yeah.
And it's still the same now. You can still get stuff at, we'll call it Tony Sport, before it even lands over here. You can get
that's what my big push this time around is, right? Like I did a Facebook ad or something, and that I can't remember how I worded it, but I wanted to get the message across is that, hey, we have the kits in stock. We have like you said, the parts in stock, the options in stock. They're ready to ship. I'm discounting the shipping, so it's kind of skewed. So it's all kind of across the board. I don't mind eating some shipping to get it to the East Coast. I just want guys to have the product when they want it, right?
But with the tariffs now, it's so much easier to bring it in from Canada, from Schumacher, than Schumacher trying to go through the States.
Oh yeah, 100%.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, and the shipping times and stuff, right? Like I still do weekly orders with Schumacher, and that's kind of been my thing. Is if I don't have something, as long as they have stock, I have stock, right? We carry a large selection in stock. And if I'm missing anything or there's an oddball or whatever, I just put on the weekly order and then I get it, right? So it just automatically just comes to me.
I like that you brought in another product. And again, it's a great car. All the Schumacher stuff's always been great. I think that's where I decided to crash and burn myself at that snowbirds. Max, I keep on telling you I should have won. I was running Schumacher for USA there, but it's cool that you're bringing in another like car and manufacturer into North America type thing. I'll use all North America because in on-road it's either X-Ray or Osmatics. When you look at any, so it's very cool that you're creating a team and bringing in another company that's a good, awesome quality product.
It's a good
as well.
option. Yeah,
yes.
It's a good option. And the history is rich of racing, right? I mean, if you actually get on YouTube and search the company up, I mean, Cecil Schumacher started it in the 80s, right? I mean, he's got the patent for the original ball diff, right? So Schumacher has been, along for that ride through the RC history and made massive contributions along the way to the racing, right?
Well, the engineering team is that good because you could say it, Korge. Like how many times it's either a 12 scale touring car, off-road car, they come out first, and then the next year you see other cars sort of look like theirs, right?
Yeah. The engineers are fantastic. The R&D behind the scenes is fantastic. They're definitely. I mean, they'll follow if that's the proven trend, but they'll also lead. If they see that's the path that it should be followed, right? You know what I mean?
The question, like Max wasn't around back then either, but you see, this is probably the most I've ever seen Schumacher sponsor like big name people. Like we go back to the early 2000s in the 90s, Max, you would have how Schumacher would show up with at the Worlds with a 10-car team and put a couple guys in the show type thing. They were just small. They were like that little company that they called it or whatever. Like, could they have been bigger? I don't know. Did they want to keep it smaller like the way they did?
I think in England they've got the majority of the market share, right? Okay. And so, like anything, that's just their safety net. And they've kind of dipped their toes out globally. And I'd say the last 5-6 years for Schumacher has been awesome, right? And then they're like, okay, let's go a little deeper and let's go a little deeper. And so, like I said, with me joining and with my roles, I can kind of being Canadian, maybe, I kind of act sometimes as translator between other parts of North America and Europe or England. And that helps get deals going and stuff, right? I can't really go into details, but it's it all helps, right? And they're focused. They want to be global. They want to be big. They have that desire and that passion to win, right? So, and they really do believe. I mean, what wins on Sunday sells on Monday. I mean, that's the stuff they have to do. If they put out a car that's bad, then they're not going to sell, and they have their own issues within the factory that way. So everything they do is well tested and almost proven before it really hits the market. Yeah. The safe approach, I guess you could say.
Yeah. You seem very strong about them, which just means amazing. Why are you so hesitant about being North American distributor? If you can answer that.
So back to like what I was saying, I think the distribution has changed so much. Like, so here's what happens, right? Like I think, and we could probably touch on this on the track talk as well, right? But hobby shops, like anything in our economy right now, are I wouldn't say struggling, but they're watching, they're penny pinching, they're watching everything they possibly can. And so if you put yourself in their shoes, I don't blame them. I mean, they're going to bring in Traxxas and Arma and Horizon products and whatever sells, whatever gets those customers through the door 5 or 6 days a week, right? And so they have, in some distributors, they have minimums they have to meet every month, right? So imagine if you have to, in order to keep your account, you have to spend X amount of dollars at this distributor, and all of a sudden someone wants a brand, right? Then what do, right? So they can't maybe shuffle those funds or focus on that, so they just kind of keep going with what they do. So the racing stuff kind of falls to the side, and I think the problem is that they start to use distributors as, I don't know if excuse is the right word, but it becomes, rather than just saying, I don't want to spend the money on that line and bring it in, it becomes, oh, the distributor says they don't have it, or they can't get it, or it's going to be 2 weeks, or it's, it's just, I don't know how to put it. It's easier to kind of shuffle it off and just focus on your core stuff, right? So by me becoming a distributor, I didn't want to deal with that. We dealt with that 20 years ago when we had CanWest RC, right? Like racers still come up to me today and say, man, like, you were great. I'd call you, you'd have it, but my shop wouldn't order it because they didn't want to pay the shipping or didn't have enough to order in their eyes or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't want to go through any of that stuff again, right? Like I stand and speak for my own company, Kaos, and I kind of put my money where my mouth is, right? I have it all. It's there.
Yep.
Simple.
Yep.
If you want it, you can order it. You can buy it. And if I don't have it, reach out and I'll get it, or I'll tell you when I'll have it, or whatever, right? And I think that's just how I want to roll with it, right? I don't. It's it was kind of funny because the whole reason I did it, I think, goes back to that passion or love I have for the sport from a kid. When I accepted a sponsorship with Schumacher, and Wayne was in there too, and the original three guys, I was the one that said to Mark, I said, I can't see the sense in promoting a brand that you can't readily get, right? I don't want to send people to the US and have to deal with, it was bad with all the tariff stuff, or to Europe, or to Tony Sport, or whoever, right? I said, I'll be, the dumb lucky guy, and I'll start a store too, so at least there's a source for it in Canada. And I don't need that business. It's we have a family business that we're involved in, that we run and stuff, and so Kaos is literally just there for the people, really, for me, making sure that the racers have what they need when they want it, and making sure that the racers have a source to get it. Simple as that. So I don't really want to take, at this time, I guess I don't want to take it to another level and have to open up to all those cans of worms. I want to just have fun, enjoy it, and control it, I guess, a bit more.
Gotcha.
But for people that don't, like our American friends that watch, they can still order from your site and get Schumacher products through you.
I actually have America turned off on my site, and I only reason is I don't, same thing, they don't like dealing with us. I don't want to deal with the international shipping. I might change that, I definitely have some American friends that have reached out, and I can help them and stuff if I know them. But it's just, for me right now, the way, like with Shopify now, it's just so easy, right? So compared to what I had to go through with CanWest RC, like computer programs had to be designed and made for me, and shipping, Campar and whatever I used to use back then, Purelator and all that. It's just so easy to do this that I don't really want to deal with the custom stuff, right? So like the custom clearance stuff, but that might change. I mean, we'll see. I'll kind of, when I have some downtime, maybe I can investigate that a little bit more. And if Shopify makes that simpler somehow, then I could certainly look at that.
Okay.
But with that being said, I do think that there is some really good sources in the US for Schumacher. A-Main's starting to carry more of it. Discount RC has it. A lot of the tracks have it. Like we're again, because I'm privy to that information, there's definitely growth in the States, right? We kind of have a dream team down there for off-road, and that certainly helps, right? So, you look at Brock a few years ago when he joined, and same thing, he was a small team just around him, and now he basically rolls with an entourage, right? So it's pretty rad to see.
Speaking about off-road, we're getting a lot of questions, and one I wanted to ask you, something not 1/12th, not 1/10th, 1/8th. I know this is an on-road show, but new stuff is new stuff. Do you have any info you can give us on the 1/8th scale program? When it will be released? Anything you can give us here? We'll keep it secret, we promise. But
just us three, right?
Yeah, just us three. No one else is watching.
It's coming. It's coming. Man, I don't want to put my foot in my mouth, but I really think this car is going to be a home run. You look at our last car that we released, which was a PV electric platform, and Schumacher used that a little bit as a test bed of some new materials, some new design ideas. And that car's a home run. I mean, I've never driven a better shaft car on carpet. And I'm just today, Kyle was messaging me saying, I ran my PB on dirt, clay, thing is dialed. Like, it's just, it's so awesome. And so the 8 scale is basically going to be a little bit bigger PB, right? There's a lot of behind the scenes work. They've had a lot of test mules. The Euros warm up that Orlowski won was kind of the point where, based on his feedback and based on the results he won, they said, okay, that was basically a 90% Schumacher car. And so they said, that's definitely the direction we're going. We're wrapping it up and we're finalizing our designs and we're going forward. So are we going to see it this summer? Probably not. But I'd say towards the end of the season, end of the year, we'll probably have an e-buggy released. If not, we would roll into Q1 of 27. But which timing kind of sucks for us in North America, but I think it's going to be worth the wait. In everything I've heard from testing, I should, hopefully I'll have a prototype very soon. And like I mentioned, I don't want to race dirt, but I will obviously have to with that car, test it a bit and get it into some other like Jeremy Litsky and other team drivers I have. Evan Roth maybe would look at it. These guys, they'll kind of know more than I will, right? Okay. But yeah, super pumped, super excited. There's definitely, there was a podcast, the No Name podcast, did kind of a collab of spy shots from different races, and Max kind of hit the nail on the head with some of the design concepts. They're again leading, not following on it, and I think it's going to be pretty awesome.
Okay, we're excited to see. I know when I spoke to Douglas, he's all jazzed up for it, and he's ready to dominate Ontario like he does now with that bad boy in his hand and lap everyone 3 times. So I'm sure he's excited to now lap people 4 times now instead of 3 when he's running here.
Yeah, Mark Sousa, same thing. He's going to be game. We just signed Richard Pounder too, right? So another big mover in the East Coast. So yeah, we're gonna hit the ball out of the park, I think. So
how hard is it? I want to talk a little bit about the team side of the things now. How hard is it to manage a team in RC, especially when you have top guys, see like Sousa and Schufeld, for example, on your dirt side? How hard is it to manage it? Not pick favorites, kind of thing. Like be fair to everyone. Is that tough to do?
No. Honestly, my whole team is great. It's fantastic. The guys communicate well. I mean, I kind of was tasked with that, and again, I kind of the neat thing is we still have that old boys club. So when I jumped back into that scene, it was easy to reconnect with certain core players and build this dream team kind of thing, right? I'm very proud of my team. I love my team. I love knowing that we can go to any race across Canada and have a shot at winning it. I love that. All my team kind of have that same kind of mandate to help people, good representatives of the company, show class on the track, off the track, right? And I think with that, Schumacher's given me enough of a budget that I don't really have to pick favorites per se. So based on their ability, their skill, their, local scene, all that stuff, when I sign them for a contract, then we put all those pieces together and we make sure both parties are happy. So I haven't had to really, I'm kind of, like I said, I've basically selected the best of the best, right? Like, I mean, I've got really some good key players that I just, pumped on, right? So it was, it's cool. It's very cool.
I'm not sure if you have the best of the best.
See that?
The best of the best.
Hey, you never sent me a resume. I mean, I know we chatted a little bit when you had the hobby shop, right? And you're like, no, I just want SMC, right? So. I want to sign Mark. I think we should find a class.
They don't make a class slow enough for Mark.
Oh.
There's no 27.5 yet or nothing.
Korge, I told Max that everybody asked around, how come you don't race anymore? I tell them the same story. I said, well, one, you can't win your own race. That's why I don't win the Canadian Nats. It looks bad. And the other one, I beat everybody there is. So there's nobody left to beat in the hobby. That's it. And then they all want to puke, and then they don't talk to me the rest of the day. Oh, shout out here, Max. Bodies by Brandon. It's Brandon's birthday today. So the guy
Happy birthday, Brandon.
Body, yeah, he paints bodies.
That's awesome. I didn't put two and two together that he was on the show last week.
Yep.
Right.
He's
and then I saw it after we added each other as friends and stuff. So that's super cool. Yeah. And we need some. I think that's the one thing Canada is lacking. We need some really good painters, and we need more of them.
He is that good, buddy. If I give him any downfall, he's too cheap. I don't know. He just paints the bodies for the love of it because he charges. It costs you more to buy the paint. And he does these super cool paint jobs for next to nothing. So I give him all the credit. God bless him that he wants to paint all these bodies.
I think, the painting is just as important in the hobby sport, right? I mean, if you have a passion for it, that's a skill, right? It's
incredible.
Someone that paints an amazing looking body, that's like a TQ and a win, right?
Yeah.
So, you're contributing to your hobby, your sport, the best way you can, and they have a passion for it. I love it. I love painters.
He does that.
They all do fantastic work.
Yeah.
2-1 Belgium for anyone wondering in the second half. But yeah, I agree. Paints. That is people are watching. No, I agree. I think there should be a new rule in RC that your body has to be like minimum 3 colors.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up because I totally agree. Like I was talking to Josh Sherrill after our last race, and I told him I said I love your idea for that template around the wheel arch to the front splitter. That needs to happen, right? I mean, I kind of touched on it a little bit, in that last show, and it's 8 people all over the place, right?
Yeah.
But I really think that Roar or I don't know, someone like I would say if we sell at Wix, I would definitely address it in Wix, but we need some more body rules or time stamps, like maybe we approve bodies every 2 years or so. There's got to be some stability in that segment, right? Because I think that's the biggest thing that's killing it. I mean, we're running ultra 0.4 bodies, and it's like, man, you cringe. Like you're like, oh my god, I rubbed the board, and it's like, is my body in one piece still, right? That's not right. I mean, the reason Mark and I had awesome racing experiences 20 years ago was probably because the bodies were a bit thicker, and we were on foam tires too, which was amazing, right? You remember that. but you know what I mean? Those bodies held together. We could run race paint and beat the crap out of them. And I mean, you might, whatever, but you could still get through a weekend, right?
Yeah.
So, and you just can't do that now. Like I have race paint, but I haven't really used it because I'm like, man, I can't, right? There's a new body coming out this week, or I got to try, 66.5 over 64. Like it's just boom, right? Like,
but you're right, Corey. Now you see the race paint when the guy's standing there on a podium, the top 100%. Guys, but that's not what they ran. They just take it for the picture now. Maybe it has to be the rule, like whether it's Cleveland, all these big races that, you can't have a one color. You got to run race paint. Maybe that should be a rule.
I think it should be a thicker body, and I think it should be
thicker for sure.
Like Max is like 3 colors or something.
Something, whatever it is. Yeah.
Well, even Dale Epp used to say back in the day, even now, I could be wrong, but I swear he told me all the time that the thinner it is too, the more it costs. You think it's the other way, but it's not. The thinner they actually pull those bodies, and it costs you more for a piece of Lexan that's thinner.
Yeah.
So maybe the bodies come down if we went back to the old style thickness.
But a body's selling for $60, $65 now?
60.
Right? Like, I mean, that's, and you might get a practice session, or you might get a club race, or you might get a weekend at a trophy race. You don't know. It's like just throwing your money away, right? And I think that's the biggest thing that's holding us back right now is costs like that, right? Excessive
Rattlesnaker's got it right. Maybe Canadian Nest this year we bring back the concourse, right? Maybe it just makes guys paint some bodies, or some painters paint some stuff. I think you went to one race. Where was that, Max? Was that at 360 or something, you guys? And was that a Roar, or was that just a 360 race?
Roar Nats does it. Yeah. But again, these guys they go deep in their bag, they pull out the beautiful painted body, take the pictures, back in the bag it goes.
But back in the day, you could ask Corey, you had to run. If you won the concourse, no matter who it was, you had to run that
run the
body in the
body.
main.
Yeah.
Well,
You had to
that was the rule in concourse back in the day. If you won concourse, you had to run that body.
Yeah. Yeah, Roar Nats, like, I made a comment, Chris Adams messaged me a while ago, but the top 4 guys, 3 of them were white plain ass body shells. And now they're not even putting stickers on them, half the guys.
Corey, he's got to know that too from being a race director. And I know it sucks at a race when you're trying to announce and there's 10 guys on the stand and I got 5 white cars. So that's why it's snotty sometimes that even at the Canadian Nats, I'll say white car followed by the white car, followed by the other white car, followed by the other white car. I don't know who's who. There's no stickers on any of them or one sticker. I'm not calling the race no more. And people got, some people can't do that. And I'm just like, well, get a different color.
Right? I mean, at 10, 11 second laps, things happen fast, right? So I mean, it's not like you can really call traffic because you don't really know who anyone is, right? So yeah, it's tough. I don't know. I really like Josh's idea, and I hope Roar looks at something like that and setting a limit. As soon as he said that, man, I said, wow, the light bulb just went off. That's exactly what we need, right? And I mean, that new body, the Avalon, right, is it's kind of like a, here we go again. This to me, again, Mark will remember, like, you guys had Paul on the show, I don't know, a couple weeks ago, whatever, right? But don't you remember when Paulie started running double pinks all the way around on his touring car?
Yep.
And it was like that was kind of that momentous point where things changed, right? And I kind of feel like the Avalon is kind of the same thing. They banned it from the Hootie race because, like Alex said, you probably saw his post, right? I mean, you have to let up for that kink or something on the straightaway, and the car gets so unsettled it became airborne, and in testing he just was destroying cars, right? Like holy, right? How do you
I know it's gone
put
too
that
far
in your driver's meeting, right? Like
I know it's gone too far, but I wish it would go back that it actually has to be a car again, but it never happened. I mean, we had our Dodge Stratus, we had our Mazdas, they looked like them somewhat, not exactly, but it was right. Now these things, it's not even really a car. It's just pretty soon we were running El Camino. Like when I watched buggy racing, I see that truggy body. I can't stand seeing a truggy body. It looked like somebody stepped on a damn thing.
Yeah.
But where's it in?
7th scale or whatever, right?
Yeah, it's crazy. There's like, I went to go order bodies today, and because so many bodies are coming out now, all of a sudden it's like, shit, I got to test 6 different bodies now next time I'm at the track.
You know what? They're so thin now. I thought I was doing a good thing for the kid for practicing. I bought some, what are they called, Max? They're not the real ones, knockoffs or whatever.
The knockoff ones.
They were like half the price. So I thought I'd get some, paint them white. Well, one I tore. That's why Max always laughed. One I tore trying to get them apart. Right? I ripped the back half. So that was it for that one. So now I'm hot already. And then I mounted the one for Bryce. I went out there and he's like, Dad, don't buy these. I said, what the hell happened? He showed me. He goes, that was going through over the dot, and he caught one of the, just to go down the straightaway. The body cracked below the headlights, like just exploded, and the splitter is gone. He goes, you see me? I didn't hit it hard or whatever. So that was 2 bodies gone.
Yeah.
The one I didn't
even
get
the
paint.
cheap stuff.
One I didn't even get the paint.
And there's definitely different qualities of Lexons, right? And that's the problem, is a lot of those ripoffs use the cheaper materials too, and then you get that, right? So, which doesn't look good. It's all about perception too, right? I mean, it doesn't matter. No one knew you were running a knockoff. They just see, Bryce's car front end explode, and that could be in an extreme body or a Wolverine or whatever, right? And that's just what they see. So that's what they think, right? And that's the problem.
Remember what was the, is that Monaco body? What came out there that went against Dale and start? Montec, that's it.
Montec, yeah.
Remember that first Montec that came out? I forget the name of it.
Racer, I think.
Racer,
yeah.
Well, Dale
they had something too, like it was, not Protoform LTR, but there was some L in there or something too, I think.
Dale used to always say he'd love to find out and could never find out before his thing from Proline was done, but he always said the Lexan that they were using, the Biddy guy and those guys, the Lexan was better than what they were using, but he didn't know where to buy it, put out sources everywhere. They would obviously not say, but he goes, their bodies lasted longer than what he could punch out at the time because their Lexan was better, but they would never give him the
source.
The source. Yeah.
Yeah. And I still think I still think their Lexon is the best. But the problem is now the bodies are so thin that you can't mask that, right?
Well, you must remember when you came. Dale was battling the Parma. Came out. Was that the old Mohawk? Remember how thin it was? Max, this thing would body tuck by itself.
I still got some. There's actually a bunch still painted just right above me right now.
Remember those things? They were thinner than hell. Same thing. That's when it all started.
And that was pretty good Lexon though. Like I don't remember having many issues with those bodies.
No, the front, nothing happened to the front, just the body. The back end would just tuck all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
Like
have you guys watched that RC TV or RC Racing TV 25 years of touring car?
No.
We only watched the fourth quarter show.
Well, here's a tip. Tune in and watch it. It's actually a good series. It's literally 25 years of touring car going right back to, the TC3 and Yokomo's into the Awesomatics, some Schumacher stuff to present day, right?
Okay.
And he has the cars and the bodies of the era. And you can see where the lap times kind of really changed. And then they kind of peaked a bit and then they started to get faster. But if we zone back, I can't remember what body it was, but I think it might have been the racer, or something like that. Or maybe it was the, what was the protoform? The LT?
DNA?
No, not the DNA.
The Type S, I think it was. Yeah,
LTC?
Or that, the LTR?
LTC.
LTC. That era, that seemed to work well. And then the racer took off of that. But they lasted. The performance was good. Like he actually made a note when he was driving the car that, this body being whatever it is, 8 years old or something, still feels very similar to current ones, but is obviously thicker and more robust, right? So I don't know. I think I just have a feeling that's what we really need to kind of focus on is a more tighter rule set. I would like to eliminate some classes too. I kind of agree with how ETF is doing it with less classes. I know that's controversial for you guys, but yeah.
Who said that?
It is.
Yeah. Who's this guy?
We're gonna get yelled at again on this show later on, the private messages.
Yeah. No, you're right about the body. It's interesting you bring that up because I just talked to Lucas Urbane. We had a show, and obviously Lucas was the one who tested that Avalon Vortex first at ETS practice. That blew it up, and he's so much faster, blah, blah, blah. And I asked one of the questions I asked was like, how much faster were you guys this year with ETS compared to last year with this new Avalon and the advances? Guess what the answer was?
Like lap or overall?
Overall, 5 minute.
Same.
3 seconds?
They were slower.
Really?
Then why the hell were they running it?
Well, because in current conditions with everything, tire, asphalt, but
they changed tires too this year though.
They changed tires, but last year they were faster with their old stuff. So it's very interesting to see and hear that at that scale of racing.
Okay.
Well, I heard that you basically had to run that body because everything was so high speed on the track. Yeah. And unfortunately, it's off powers. It was like, when you kind of like ghost another 12 scale mod or something, you let off, that car's crazy to drive. Like you have to stay on power. And that's how the touring cars were at that event with that body. Like you need to be on power to generate that downforce so the cars, maintain the corner speed and the grip. As soon as you let off, well, you saw what happened, right? I mean, there's accidents everywhere, right? Yep. So that's for the best of the best. That's very hard. You could see that. Like everyone was struggling. No one had a perfect run, right? So
yeah,
I hope we don't get there.
I took it off my order because I don't even want to try that piece of junk body.
Oh,
Andre, can you imagine? Andre, I can't even imagine you at the track. Get your ass to the track. Simple. I want to go back to speaking a little bit about the team driver stuff.
He's saying, sorry, back to Andre. You know why he's saying that? So Andre's car, he wins the award every year, for the ugliest paint jobs. So he goes in the hobby shop and decides that he takes the cans with the most dust on them and paints what do you call that, fade of 2 colors. Last year he had a dark green and like a goldy copper color. It was all run together. He painted it in his garage. it was just god awful. Right. And I bugged him every time he came up. I announced, here comes the ugliest car I've ever seen. And that's when he actually told me that he goes to Skycraft and what's got the most dust on it.
Bin.
Yeah, with the Tamiya cans with the most dust, he'll pick those two colors. But I said, just paint it one color then. Like, why do you, those two colors? And oh my God sakes, it's just the ugliest colors blended together. When his one body ripped, right, at the race or whatever, I was like, thank God. Now get that ugly thing off the track. He was, why are you so mean to me? I said, because how do you crazy Frenchman, how do you pick the ugliest colors, bro?
Some guys can drive. Even when I do a one color, I got to have stickers on it and I got to have my windows trimmed out. I don't know why. To me, if I don't have those little details, I just feel like I'm looking at the car more than driving the car. Right? Like that thing looks hideous. What am I doing? Right? So.
3-1 Belgium for everybody thinking. But I want to talk about the team driving stuff, because obviously now you're announcing more sponsorships for guys. When you're looking at drivers, or when people put their applications in, or you reach out to someone, what are some of the big things you look at on and off the track when you're deciding on who to add to your team?
So to start, when I started building this team, I looked primarily for experience and talent, right? And it was kind of a blend of that. I wanted, I don't care if you're necessarily the fastest person on the track, but if you're kind of like the social butterfly, right? Like you can obviously get around the track, but you're very helpful in the pits. You're asking people questions, you're answering people's questions. Like every track has one, right? Like that, I like that experience segment. And then I also like the talent side. Like look at Schufel. I mean, he can drive a shoebox, right? I mean, it's crazy, right? Same thing, like Kyle, when he came to me, I looked at live time, kind of looked at where he kind of fit into the events and stuff like that. And, Douglas and Mark can kind of mentor him a little bit, and he's gotten a lot faster over the last year. Right. So, that's to me is just raw talent, and he's just put him with those other players, and he's going to flourish, right? He's going to excel. So I kind of think it's more of a balancing act. Do I plan to flood the market with drivers? No, I don't. I don't want contract customers. I want people that can contribute, again, to making this hobby sport greater, right? I do have, Schumacher has in Europe a junior team. And so we kind of talked a bit about that. And I said, I definitely want that role, but we run those through Kaos. So we have a separate sponsorship through Kaos. Obviously, there's some incentives and stuff from, Schumacher helps out, and we can, get them some key stuff to start with. But the Kaos team is kind of more for the younger kids and stuff, the up and comers. I don't want to pressure them. I don't want a race resume. It's like, I see it, I like it, I see the passion, I see the driving skills, and I want to put that kid on my junior team. I don't want him to, have expectations or have hockey dad, kind of attacking whatever. Just let him grow, right? And then if he succeeds and goes to the next level and gets through that, that phase that we were talking about with girls and cars and all that stuff, and turns into the, the next Douglas, then we're going to move him up to Schumacher, right? So, and to be honest, to bring up, that's kind of how Orlowski started, right? So he started off on the junior Schumacher team. So we're kind of taking that and just kind of rolling with it for Canada.
Okay. It makes sense big time. Speaking of sponsorships, I mean, every time I go to any track, I don't think there's not anyone who's not sponsored now who's racing RC. Do you see that as an issue in the hobby affecting, local hobby shops? What's your thoughts on that?
I do. I really do. Like I said earlier, like I want to help hobby shops set up Schumacher accounts. So, I'll have a driver in that region, but I don't want to take a customer away, to get a discount to get my sales higher. I don't care about my sales. It is what it is. So, I probably get indirectly asked that question, kind of thing. Like it usually starts with, oh, can can I get a deal, or can I whatever, blah blah blah, right? You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And so I guess I'll help if I can help. Like, you know, oh, sure, you've bought 5 car kits from me and you want another one. Okay, you know what? Sure, you know, let's put a sale. Here's this coupon code or something like that, right? Let's help out. But I'm not going to put them on the team. I'm not going to be like, here's a discount code to use for the next year. I don't want to do that. I don't think we need to do it, right? I think our product speaks for itself, and guys go out and they when they try the stuff, they like it, they want it, right? It's not like we're trying to hide anything or buy anyone. Right? I don't think we really need to. I really don't. And I think honestly, the whole industry needs to get back to that, right? I know Drew kind of touched on it, where he's got that magic number, and you look at you know, North America that Drew handles, and I think was you want to stay under 200, and you know, that seems like a massively huge number, but when you actually look at it for population in North America, it's actually not. Right now, I don't want to be anywhere close to that number. Like, you know, Canada's 1/10 the market of the U.S. Right, so you know, in comparison, but I think he's kind of, you know, with how he described it was good. He doesn't want to overpopulate a region, and I don't think teams should really do that. Right, they need to generate sales to the hobby shop, unless they want to take all the sales over, but I don't think that, you know, that might give them some immediate growth, but long-term growth it's not sustainable. There's no way.
Yeah, it's a big problem. We see it's a big problem. When I had my store, everyone's sponsored and everyone knows someone who's sponsored, so they obviously use each other's account, code, whatever the number case may be. And you know, I got guys that wouldn't support me who support the track because they can get a battery $8 cheaper somewhere else.
Well,
you know, what I mean?
I know we had that issue with SMC pricing and stuff like that, but you know, I love what Danny's doing, right? Danny of SMC, which, you know, plug, just, it's almost like Wayne. You know what I mean? My money's always on Wayne. I will always have an SMC battery in my car. It's just, it's such a no-brainer. It's literally the best of the best. And Danny, you know, again, when we kind of missed that segment, but I worked for Jayco and SMC. You know, I did a lot of their marketing and helped with the team and sponsorship and going to the races and, you know, managing tires and batteries and all that stuff. Right. Danny told me, like, he's like, basically, if you're in the US and you want to run SMC packs on a deal, you got to talk to Jim Dieter. And if you want packs in Canada, you got to talk to me. Like, he doesn't want to sponsor anyone. He's just like, my pack is the best of the best that we can put out right now, and guys will want it. They'll just naturally buy it. We have a very competitive price point. There's no margins for team drivers. So I really applaud him for kind of doing that and getting out ahead of all this stuff. You know, yes, you know, if Jeff Dager or, you know, Wayne Ma or Schufelt wants an SMC banner, of course we're going to help them out. But the masses, you know, those contract customers that Mark loves talking about, that doesn't happen. It just doesn't. And I think it's great. I think it's fantastic. Put your foot down and just stick to your guns.
Yeah, I agree. Andre says your story doesn't sound factual there, Mark. we'll agree with you, because Andre's not here and he's not at the track.
You gotta.
Because he ain't coming till October.
Yeah.
Robinson said Douglas and Mark have been great help. Excited to keep working with them. Yeah, I know Douglas for sure is a great guy, and he's willing to help out anybody. Usually get a Korge patch, looking forward to the winter season, and Schumacher Chaos give him the boost he needed. Awesome here. Hey, Korge loving this, and I agree that early 2000s were some of the best times. Aaron M. also never gone faster since Schumacher. There you go.
Yeah.
So that's from Canadian Outdoor, I'm assuming Adventure. So
that was kind of a neat story too. That was one of my locals, Aaron Matlow, I think, or at least the comment was about Aaron. And it was super neat. I didn't, you know, obviously when I switched and I think it was, you know, whatever, January 1st of, you know, 25 or whatever, 24, I can't remember. Anyways, and, you know, we started Chaos as well and stuff. And some of my first sales, I didn't want to pressure anyone. I didn't, you know, my local guys, it just, whatever, it is what it is. And I think it was January 1st. So I'm actually building some cars, and Aaron calls me, you know, usual Happy New Year, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, Happy New Year and all that. And he said, so I guess it's official. And I said, well, you mean Kaos or Schumacher? And he's like, yeah, yeah. And I said, yeah, absolutely. You know, stuff's rolling in and blah, 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 blah. And he's like, okay, put me down for a touring car, a 12 scale, a off-road car, a 4-wheel drive off-road car. I'm like, oh, wow, are you serious? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, great, awesome, like amazing, thank you. And he's like, you know, everything you do, you know, I just wanted to be a part of it because, you know, I was talking to another fellow racer, Rob Doust, who is now retired. They're still good friends. And I guess they had this conversation, and Rob Doust just told him, hey, if Korge's doing it, you got to do it. Go along with the ride for him because you're always going to have a good time, and he'll always have your back and always be there. So I think that was what Aaron was kind of referring to, right? So
gotcha. Dan Chi, not sponsoring anything. Feels like most racers are mad at me. That's okay though. I'm still having so much fun with on-road racing. I still rock stars my bike, 100%. And I know Dan, you're at Apex, EA's track, so you're in great hands there. If you're not having fun, then you shouldn't be here. It's all about having fun at the end of the day. The stories that these guys tell from back in their days, and the stories that hopefully me and the guys I go with tell, that's what it's about. No one remembers who won the race last Sunday. They remember what happened Saturday night or Friday night. That's what matters the most.
Yeah,
and
you remember
that's
clearing a dance floor
now want to bring back. You know what I mean? Like what I was talking about with Mark earlier, right? I mean, that era was just awesome on the track and off the track. And so again, I think that core old timers group now, being 50, right? That's us, me. You know, that's what we're trying to bring back to the track. We're trying to introduce, you know, young guys like, hey, let's have fun on and off the track, right? This is your family. This is your sport. This is what you love doing. So just do it, right?
Kurt has a good question here. Maybe we can all touch on it from our experiences. Can you guys discuss motors, team versus normal motors? I think it's very hit and miss. I think every brand, I don't want to sound biased, is different. I've had great motors from companies and shit motors from companies, both team versions and non-team versions. So it's hard.
For the advice I give, it kind of depends on what kind of driver you are, right? I mean, if you can go out and run 98s, 99s, you know, it's probably an advantage to spend some extra time or money and work with a tuner and get that motor, because I think you're going to get that extra 10th out if you're at that level. If you're running 93s, 94s, you know, maybe even 95s, I think your money is probably better spent elsewhere, right? With either learning the car, you know, getting, you know, a selection of some optional parts or oils or something where you can actually tune with, or even another couple sets of tires.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's money better spent. I think all the motors these days are good. You know, team motors are definitely better, but they're not that much better like they were back in the day. Yeah. Right. So back in the day, like a lot of the past shows, I mean, I think it was Drew again, or whoever was on a couple weeks ago, you know, I mean, was telling the story about Danny at SMC, and, you know, you were, as a semi-pro or pro driver, you know, what you got for the main was all based on how you qualified. Mm-hmm. And then, you know, the special box came out, and then there's these, you know, unattainable, you know, packs sitting there, right? Like, go out and kick ass with it, right? And same thing for the motors. Those days are gone, right? So I think, like I said, like, it just depends what kind of ability or what level you're at as a racer to determine what type of motor you actually need.
Yeah, I agree. And I think motor is everyone talks about it, but it's actually such a small piece of the puzzle. If your car does not handle well, or doesn't have corner speed, or it doesn't matter what motor you have in that thing, it's going to bog down in the corner. So I think we look big at the European guys because they don't worry about motor like that. They're all about the setup of the car and hitting your marks. But again, motors, team versus normal, yeah, you nail it on the head. Higher consistency, then yes, spending a little extra coin. If you're still the average racer having fun, I wouldn't worry about it right now. Talking a little bit about the future, just a couple more questions before we go. I know you're 3 hours behind us, so you still have to go have some nice supper and whatnot.
I'm okay. I'm good. You know, I thanks for the opportunity to put me on here, right? Obviously, I appreciate it, and it's been an amazing experience both last week and this week. So I'm just happy to be here.
Oh, you're doing much more than we are. I mean,
Yeah.
you're actually helping the industry. Showtime just clicks a link to join the show, so he doesn't do much there.
No.
And I just send you a message to come on, so it's not like we do much. So.
And I said on many other shows, Korge, and I'll say it again. It's like the friendship stuff is so true. After all these years, and my kid, I said it many shows, and I love it that my oldest one enjoys the hobby that much. Bryce is showing more and more interest, and now he actually gets it. So at 23, it's just like, yeah, his hockey career, his junior career came to an end. He put more into the racing. And he's just like, Dad, I get it now. I don't even talk. So only a year passed since my last junior games. And I talk more to these RC guys than the hockey guys I traveled on the bus with. Like, and I get it. I said, yeah, just like you and Max. I said, maybe 20 years from now, you guys are still racing cars, or maybe not. But you and Max will get together sometime and talk about all the travels you guys just did in this past year, right? Hopefully there's many more travels with my kid and Max, but the friendship he's got with Max it'll never change. I said, you guys will talk about your Tennessee trips and your others trip and 360 and this guy, and it won't even be about the race. It'll be about them guys on a dance floor in New York City. It won't even be about the race. And Martin Lecure bringing more and more drinks, say he's going to bed and he comes back with another fistful of drinks. That's what you're going to remember.
Yeah, exactly. You never pick where your friends come from. They just become your friends, right?
Yeah.
Here's what it is.
And all over this hobby over a little car. That's what a lot of people don't understand.
Takes me right back to being 10 years old.
Yeah.
Looking ahead in the future of, Schumacher Canada, yourself, Kaos Motorsports, any goals you have coming up for the next, 1 to 5 years?
I want to do some aftermarket through Kaos. I think it's time for Canada to kind of get more aftermarket products, titanium screws, turnbuckles, bearings, some carbon pieces. I think that's kind of where I want to kind of spin off of from Kaos. Obviously stuff for Schumacher, but other stuff for other brands as well, right? I just, $300 screw sets and just drive me nuts. It doesn't need to be that expensive, right? So I really want to kind of take on that. I actually wanted to do it last winter. I usually get downtime, right? So like how my other business works is it's busy now, and then in the winter it kind of falls off, which is fantastic because the RC picks up, and I kind of can get this downtime where I can kind of focus on projects and this and that and whatever. So I wanted to do it last year, but it didn't happen. So hopefully I can get to it this year. I think that there's a big demand for well-priced stuff. Still have obviously all the cool factor, but that's kind of what I want to do with that. And then I also, I want to do this turf track. I really feel like, I think Brent Wilson, I saw he commented he'd be a great guest on your track show. He owns Die Hard RC, fantastic program down there. I've raced there lots. I've only been on his turf track once, but it was amazing. It was like, no words. Like, just imagine, right? I mean, a perfect track, perfect grip, outdoors, large. You don't have to worry about the track being blown out. You don't have to worry about rolling a corner or grooming this or watering that. I really think turf is the future. I know we kind of talked about a little bit of it in the track program, but as these tracks get larger and larger, right, 8 scale or whatever it might be, there's more maintenance. But then we said it in that show, there's less club members or less people that want to give time to the clubs to help out. So what happened, right? You got 1 or 2 guys that will, run a track, groom it, whatever, and then they basically get burnt out. And then it's hoping and relying on someone else to take it over, right? I think turf kind of solves a lot of those problems. I also kind of think, that 10 scale, and again, going back to the 90s, we were all in North America, 10 scale was huge, right? And I think in the summertime, it's kind of fallen off to go to 8 scale. So if we kind of somehow bring that 10 scale, that, the cheaper tires, the, not the $90 gallon of fuel, you know what I mean? Like, bring 10 scale outdoor programs back. I'm hoping it'll kind of bring more growth to the sport. I really do. And like I said, turf is fantastic. So if you guys, I don't think you guys, maybe RC Madness, is that on the US side? Is that close at all to you guys?
I'm not sure.
Never even heard of it.
Okay, so
Yeah.
Chris Marcy's track, but if
Like,
you can, yeah, turf
back,
is awesome.
back in the day when Steve opened up that place on Highway 20 there in the early 90s, where he had every track, he had a 1/8. What I'd like to see, if you could, when I see these tracks and they're so big and then they can't run 1/10 on it because it's made for 1/8. What he did is that he flipped a couple tubes during the day, and then it was a 1/10 track. So they still ran the same time, but he would say, okay, now we're going to go to 1/10, and he'd flip it so at least that, it's not a 1/10 buggy out there doing a 1.5 or 2 minute lap time now.
We kind of did that too at some tracks, but I still think that the jumps are too big and too spaced out for 10 scale cars, right? Like, I remember, like I mentioned, that North Vancouver track that I raced as a kid. Man, there's Dean Fogg has pictures. It's it was awesome. 2 banked corners, straightaway, infield, all grassed. It was rad, like rooster tails and step pin tires, right? Great, fantastic. But it was built for 10 scale. And, in 10 scale, we have all the classes: truck, 2-wheel, 4-wheel. In 8 scale, we only have 8 scale, right? But anyways, back then, I remember some guys would occasionally bring out their 8 scale cars and they try to run on the 10 scale track. And, everyone would kind of surround, and it was so cool because it was loud, it was nitro, it was whatever, right? And so I think people started to adopt bigger and bigger tracks out of that to try to find a compromise between 8 scale and 10 scale.
Mm-hmm.
And it just, as the tracks got bigger, like I said earlier, they get blown out, the 10 scale cars get swallowed, and then pretty soon it's not fun to race a 10 scale car on an 8 scale track in any capacity. I just kind of think that we've lost that segment. I think that segment of 10 scale outdoors is so important. I really do. Maybe I'm just kind of educated guess. I don't know. But, cheaper cost, you're not $100 for a set of tires.
Mm-hmm.
It's more classes. You're not just, e-buggy, sportsman, and then nitro. You can run a truck, you can run a 4-wheel, you can run a 2-wheel, right? So I don't know. I want to try it. I think people, especially anyone that's experienced diehard in my region, that's, like I said before, that's fantastic. And I think in our region, if we build it, they will come. I'm hoping. And like I said, if it doesn't work out, then I've got a rad track to run by myself, right?
And as we mentioned earlier, you've been in the hobby 40 years, most, 3/4 of your life. If someone is thinking about getting into RC today, what advice or what would you tell them as someone new coming into our hobby?
Ooh, tough one. I think, we've seen a spurt of new people coming in, and everyone's super enthusiastic at first, and then they think that immediately they can kind of, solve problems, and they really can't, right? So I think the best thing to do is surround yourself with a good group of good people, club. Obviously run whatever is popular, whatever brand it is, right? You want part support, you want setup help, you want someone to be able to talk to, or you can get really lost really quick. And I also think that everyone should look at any club or track as an investment of time. Like, if you have a certain skill set, try to apply it to that club to better that club or that track. You just never know, right? Like, I remember, again, as a kid, I got a lot of my business sense from racers, right? I mean, we're all judged ultimately on the track, but here's a 14 or 15 or 22-year-old kid that's doing well and is mingling with multi-millionaires in business or investment or whatever. And you can go to them and they'll give you the honest answer because they want the honest answer back about how to set up their car. So, it's kind of neat in that perspective that when you actually open up and look at the people who make up the clubs, there might be a lot of hidden talent or skill available that can actually help build that club better, right? So, like, we just took on a new member, and he's a cabinet maker. I'm like, wow, right? That's amazing. And he's like, oh yeah, do you want me to, like, we can redo some jumps? I can, mill out the sides and, put whatever, blah, 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 right? And I'm just like, no brainer, right? Why not?
Yeah.
Right. So, you just never know. Maybe you have an electrician in your club that can wire up lights or do another junction, or a woodworker, just explore. And if you have a talent or a skill in a trade, expose that to your club. Try to better that club. Make it, like I used that analogy last week. You're not going to go buy a set of golf clubs and go to a rock pit to hit balls, right? You want the nice golf greens. You want the course. You want the clubhouse experience. That's part of golf, right? It's no different in RC. So why not make every effort possible to make your track as detailed as possible, to look as cool as possible? I think it goes a long way. I really do.
Mm-hmm.
Amen.
So, for example, why is ETS so fantastic, and it's had the following over the years? The tracks look amazing, right? I mean, they all have green infields and white outline, and I mean, they look like real tracks. Like, who doesn't want to drive their RC car on that, right? And you show up to a regular track, and it's just all black, just white borders wherever the place, right? I get it, but a little bit of money goes a long ways in detailing on a track.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it all kind of plays into that. Be proud of what you build on your desk, and be proud of how you race it on your track.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. Last question. I think this is the most important one.
Okay. I'll give you my email address. You can send an application.
Okay.
Yeah, Max, you got to send one in. I'm already signed, baby. So
then you'll have the best of the best. Then you'll have the best.
Hey, I don't even have to sign anything, bro. You got to fill out a whole thing on where you raced and who you are and all that.
I need references.
Yeah, references. It's not going to be for me. It's not
Mark, you were in the C main at Nats.
What's that? I told you can't win your own race, Max. You got to let other people feel good. It doesn't look good if you win your own race, bro.
C main, and you ran off the stage and blah, blah, blah. Okay, last big question. Can you please help us get Mr. Mikhail Orlowski on the show?
Oh.
Yeah, I think I can. I actually had a meeting. I had a meeting with HQ, and I said I'd be on this podcast, and I said it'd be great to see if we could kind of arrange something. So, yes, I mean, he has an incredible busy schedule, but if and I can't make any promises or timeline, but we can work at doing that. Absolutely.
If Schumacher wants to send us there to do the show too,
no
problem. I'll take time off work. We'll make it happen. So,
well, I kind of want to do a bucket list race like they do the MKGP every year in a mall like Milton's Key. It's kind of similar to your mall. It's a mall in England. It's one of the best shopping centers they have, and they do the most incredible. I mean, carpet off-road, but the most incredible track layout. A lot of the Europeans and international drivers come over for it and stuff, and it's not too far from Schumacher. It's a bit of a drive, but I would love to do that. Right? I think that'd just be a fantastic.
You know what I think would be the coolest thing is that Max wants to do it and send my kid, but how cool would it be that a whole group of Canadians get together one time and all fly from whatever city, and you go to an ETS race. You pick one, and your whole, awesome. Like 20 of them, 20 Canadians fly out there together. But no matter what brand you're running, whatever, but the 20 Canadians invade an ETS race.
I think that would be amazing.
And like Max says, we all end up in the grass and everything else, and wherever else your car is, it doesn't even matter. Just to be there one time.
Which one do you pick? I think I'd pick Dawn. I really love the German track.
Is that the one with the?
Yeah, the extra little section.
The
corkscrew?
The corkscrew?
That one? Indoor carpet, but it's got that extra room added on.
No, we're going that asphalt race. That one.
Appledorn?
Is that it?
No, he's talking about the one that the Euros are at this year. I keep forgetting the name of it.
It goes up on a big bank and it comes down with a
Luxembourg?
Oh,
is it Luxembourg?
Yeah.
That would be cool.
But you guys don't run that much asphalt, right?
No, don't fucking matter. Don't matter.
It's not like anyone's going to do well.
Don't matter.
We'll all be in the K main or whatever.
That's it together.
Don't matter.
We all travel together and all be in the same main together.
Whether we race on carpet there or asphalt, we'll still be fighting for dead last. So it doesn't matter.
I feel like we'd at least have fun on carpet. I don't know about asphalt. I mean, I think we could be just so out to lunch, but
it would be.
Yeah, but we'd have
fun. It'd be a good group. I understand.
But you already know you're going to be out to lunch when you go. There's no hype saying, hey,
why even bring the car?
Maybe you don't.
Just go for the beer garden, right?
There you go.
That'd be
Give our
amazing.
entry and we'll just hang out in the beer garden.
That's it. Perfect, bro.
Well,
We'll just add it.
Korge,
We'll go there with just the different sponsor shirts and hang out in each group, thinking that we have wherever they're having free beer, we'll go with them, or whatever supper they're having. We'll sit with Schumacher, and then next day we're sitting with X-Ray. Next day we're Mugen 10.
Awesome addicts. Yep. Switch it up. That'd be awesome. Well, Korge, it's been a blast, my friend. Thank you so much. Thank you for all you do, the community, and for Canada, and
thank you very much,
Schumacher. It's a real honor to have you on, and what you do is outstanding. So thank you so much.
Well, thanks. I'm super thankful to be part of this. Thank you so much for considering me.
And before I let you go, buddy, April 1st, you will be coming. You will bring. I know it's your son's birthday. It doesn't matter whose birthday. When you see what's happening, you will be coming. You have no choice. Put it that way.
We'll talk. We'll talk.
No,
for sure.
Yeah, you're gonna call me or send me a message. Oh my God, when it goes down.
You have my number. I have yours.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Awesome.
But yeah, thank you so much, Korge, man. It's been a blast, and thank you for all you do for everything.
Anytime, and I'll tune in tomorrow night too. I'm super pumped to watch the track program. Yeah. I love that. I don't know if you're gonna keep doing that as a separate kind of show for a while, or just till the demand dies off of guys that want to get on there. But that roundtable that needs to be, even if we just bullshit for the time, it needs to be said. It needs to be discussed. It just builds, right? Just builds on the momentum and the awareness.
Yeah, I think we'll definitely do it again when the season starts up again. We'll have some bunch of guys on every Monday. Tuesday gets a little bit busy, so. But yeah, we'll continue that for sure in the future, 100%.
Perfect. Awesome.
Korge, have a fantastic night, my friend. Go rip some laps. Thank you so much, sir.
Thanks, dude.
You too.
Thank you.
Take care, guys. Bye,
Talk to you. Another great show comes to an end. This was a good one.
It was good, buddy.
Good.
He's a true gentleman in racing and everything else, bro, and he's in for the hobby. It's really cool.
And I think from the comment section, it spoke more words than were said in the comment, because it's so many guys saying how good he's doing over there and how great he is for the hobby community and how much a great guy. So comment section speaks for itself. People are still going on and how great Korge is. So great show. Another 2 hours down quickly. Awesome. This will be uploaded on our YouTube, so anyone can go back and watch it. But yeah, another great night finished.
Thank you, Maxie.
No problem, guys. We'll see everyone tomorrow night for our track show one. Again, that's 8 p.m. Eastern on our Facebook page. Tune into that one. It'll be a great night.
All right,
Thank you very much, guys. Have a good night, everyone.
See you, homie.
Have a good one. Bye, guys.
Later, dude.
See ya.